Welcome. In this Component 3 Listening and Analysing revision session, we are looking at question 3. So we're focusing mainly on the A-level music technology, but this is also applicable to the AS in music technology. So if you've missed the previous lessons, we've already looked at question 1, we've already looked at question 2, and this is a broad overview of all the question types. So let's have a little look. So as said previously, there are two sections to this exam, a section A and a section B. We're currently looking at section A, which has 4 questions, and this is question 3 of 4. Each question is worth 10 marks each, and the whole section is worth 40 marks. So the things that you can expect from question 3, once again, it can be taken from any area of the music tech specification, component 1, component 2, and also all of the areas of study. They will be mainly long answer questions, and what you find normally is that as the exam progresses, the questions do get slightly harder or slightly more complex. The question type for this particular exam, which is the sample, does seem to be mainly problem and solution. So for instance, if you give the cause of the problem, then you'll get 1 mark. But if you give a reason why, or give the solution to that problem, you'll get the other mark. So if it's a 4-mark question, you'll have to give 2 problems and 2 solutions. So just keep that in mind. And once again, it will be a listening exam. So make sure you identify the obvious things first from the track. So here's the question from the sample. So in this one, we have a track, and it's the same track for the whole of question 3. So it says here the recording was recorded in 1950s. Explain 2 characteristics heard in this song that support this statement. So straight away, you're going to need to have a bit of information about the history and development of music technology. So you're noticing a common theme at the moment. This whole idea of how the technology has developed is quite big in this particular exam. So far, if you've been following along with the past 2 questions, it's come up quite a bit. And already, if you didn't have the information, you would have lost quite a few marks. So here we have 2 answers that we have to give, but each answer is worth 2 marks. So this is where the problem and solution comes in. So I've got a couple of examples here from the mark scheme. So for the first answer for question A, you could say something like no effects other than reverb. So that would be the cause, if you like. And then the solution could be as they have not been invented until the 1960s. The next one then, so part 2 of this question, could be something like double bass has been used. And you could say this is because bass guitar was not widely used during this time. So both of those would get you the full mark. So you would only get 1. If you could only give the reason, you would only get 1 mark. Okay, but it's being able to give that response as well. So give the problem, then give the solution. In B, it's exactly the same. This time it's worth 6 marks. So each one of these points is worth 2 marks each. So give the problem, give the solution. So the question here says, explain 3 processing techniques that could be applied during mastering to give this song a more comprehensive, contemporary sound. So once again, we're looking at the history and development because it's a 1950s track. So answers you could use could be something like, so for point 1, you could say use mix compression. And the reason for this, you could say to reduce dynamic range. That would get you the mark. The second, you could use something like use stereo widener to simulate a stereo field. Reason being is because mono was pretty much the only type during that time. So this is what you're going to have to heavily practice during this part of the question, is practicing this kind of full phrase questions, giving the problem and then giving the solution. If you don't, you will lose out. And I've just included an excerpt from the actual specification here just to show you that. So things that you should be preparing for this particular question, history and development is going to be big. So this is something we do need to look at, we do need to work on. The next thing is recording techniques questions. So looking again at your recording techniques, different techniques that apply to both digital and analog. And then once again, practice answering long answer questions with a problem and solution response. So the ones we've got here, then the recording is in mono. The reason for that, as only one track or tape was available. Second one, some of the instrument sounds distant due to limited number of microphones. So that should give you plenty to work on for this particular question. And then in the next one, I'll see you for question 4.